Can you make $500 before you've made, no, what the fuck? Can you make $500 before your scrambled eggs have been finished or your baked beans? If this is you, you little what can I say? What can I get away with saying in YouTube? Can you make $500 before your scrambled eggs or baked beans? If this is you, you little twat, this is why you keep getting sold and falling for the dreams. I mean, let's say for example, you go online, you get targeted by an ad. It could be John, it could be, let's call him Greg, right? Random name. I mean, the name's not important. It could have been any name, but this is just for example purposes. So you've been sold the big fat lie, and it's why you get sucked into the same gimmicks over and over again. You take shortcuts and you're in the same position. So we have to get rid of all of this before you've heated up your baked beans. Yes, it can be done. If you're in the right trade at the right time, of course you've made money. But this idea, and this has kind of gone away over the last couple of years, there was this phenomenon of a couple of a year period, like 2 years in a row, where people were obsessed, super tight stop losses to make quick money straight away. And there was in and out, and then they got obsessed with this idea of being in the market in the smallest amount of time. And then the stats come out and showed that most people that are profitable are not doing that. And that's why people then have started moving further away into wider stop losses. But it's actually really simple. There is no such thing as a shortcut. There is only the way, and the way is usually a longer way. So the shortcut is just doing it the right way the first time. And I'm gonna explain that to you. Never before have I really spoken about in this much detail. As a Falcon trader with our own fund, I'm gonna break down the numbers. This is how you can replace your income right now. This is how simple it is. Then I'll show you a repeatable system that can help you do that. So super straightforward. So let's say on our fund, you start off with a 15K account, not a massive account, but still very, very respectable. You start off with a 15K account. Your goal is to hit 7% profit target. When you hit that 7% profit target, that account is going to 60K. Now you will get 50% of that profit target. You'll get 50% on your first time round. You get that money back. You've now got access to your 60K account. Your goal is to now make 10% on the 60K. You take that 60K and you make 10%. That is going to then go to 120K. Let's do some just simple numbers. Let's say, for example, because you might be thinking, Mark, if I go from 60K and let's say I've not made my 10% yet and I've just made 5%. Even if you've just made your 5%, you're not going to get penalized. You can still withdraw that money. Our traders that are portfolio asset managers, when you go from 15 to 60, you instantly become a portfolio asset manager. So once you're a portfolio asset manager, you've now got that account. When you get to 10%, we're not going to rush you to do it. We're going to train you and give you the resources, the support, the education. But let's say, for example, you only made 5% that month. That's fine. You can still withdraw that and you will be getting 60% of the profit. Let's say you've now gone from where you are now to here. So let's say 17%. 17% is not a massive figure. It's a very respectable figure. So you've made your 17% from start to finish. You're now a portfolio asset manager and you're trading 120K. Let's do some simple math. If you was to make 10% on that, 12, 5%, 6, right? So let's say you've made 5%, $6,000, 60% profit split. So you're left with 3.6, right? So 3,600 to you on a 5% return. That is how simple it is. When you go from 120 to making 10%, that goes to 240. And essentially it just keeps doubling up to $1 million, and then it goes a little bit more bespoke. I'm not gonna do every single simulation, you get my point. From starting to 17%, you're trading 120K, a 6-figure account, and even on, I would say, quite an average month, 5%, it's not a huge month, you're still making 3,600. Do you wanna withdraw that? You're not getting penalized. You can still continue to trade and then get towards your 10%. So even while you're withdrawing that money, we're not gonna say, oh, now you've got to start again and make another 10%. So it is almost set up for you to win at such a great level, it's actually hard for you to fail. And do you know why I know that? It's because our stats are so ridiculously good, it is hard for you to fail. There is a reason why when we go through all of our program and we look at the funding stats, we prioritize things like, oh, what is the mental framework that you need? There's a reason why. Because such a high percentage and portion of people that go through our mindset training, which is the Rewired program, they keep their funded accounts for over a year, over 2 years. It's very normal. Why is that important? Well, think about it. If you're someone who's had, I don't know, if you've had 100K FTMO, for example, let's say you've had one of these accounts And it could be anyone, just like I'm just giving you a rough example. If you had one of these accounts, this is your ability to make money. How many of you have been in a scenario because of your own weak mindset, because you've not been trained, no one's ever taught you how to think like a profitable trader. You've probably read a few books like Market Wizards, Trading in the Zone, etc., but it's never been enough. If it was enough, think about the millions of people that have also read that book that are not successful. That shows you by default, it's clearly not enough. Otherwise, they would be multimillionaires. And before you know it, you lose your account and it blows up in your face like a bazooka. So it becomes incredibly difficult for you to be able to make money when your mind is the one getting in the way. So then you see it as, well, if just a simple 120k account on a 5% return can make me 3,600, you just work out how much is your income, you know, what are the things that you're getting right now, what is your job paying you. On a 120k account, most people, that's replacing their income. And what we would recommend, don't quit your job, still stay in your job, scale up, and imagine every single month you're getting closer and closer towards that doing the same thing. And this is where the repeatable part, you need a repeatable system that's sustainable, that's going to get you there with the support. So there's a reason why we're proud of what we've achieved. Of 8 years, guys, 8 years. You don't do that by accident, you don't do it by chance. It is very deliberate and no stone is left unturned. So I'm incredibly proud of that. But this is just, in my opinion, a relatively, it's not a massive account, it's a small enough account, but it's a very achievable one. It's a reachable account that you could get in a shorter period of time and be replacing your income at your job right now and then be moving towards those bigger figures. So let me just show you, simple, repeatable system. So let me show you what I mean. This is a recent run that a lot of people capitalize on the fund. So I thought this would be a great example. Very repeatable. And this is not even our top class setups. These are just like decent repeatable trades, let alone when we get into some real trending runs. So this is Kiwi Yen. As we saw, Kiwi Yen, top of the range. What is repeatable about it? Now, I've shared this on the channel a lot. What are we looking for in Falcon? We're looking for where the volume is triggered. So we're either looking for consolidated volume like this, or we're looking for sharper volume. Either one is good, but in those areas, we want to be positioned right here where we have the most amount of volume that's likely to step in, so we can then ride the wave of the bigger players. That is our goal. Ride the wave of the bigger players that can move the market. Retail's not moving the market. So if you think about that from a higher time frame point of view strategy, very, very effective. So then you look at something like this, really simple. Volume right here. What do we see? Price failing to get there, price failing to get there, failing to get there, failing to get there, failing to get there multiple times. And eventually we fill that area. This is our H4 mastery. For those of you that understand H4 mastery would understand why this is a good entry. So again, entry model, nice and simple right here. We get into the trade. I'm just going to show you rough here, and then out the trade at the low for 4 to 5%. Or by the time, if you would have used a trailing management, you would have got out about 5.8-ish. So you've got anywhere between, 4.8 to 5.8. So call it an average of, let's say, 5%. There's your 5% right there, the simple trade. That's just the beginning position. Then you've got the next position, which was arguably so much better. Now, I don't focus on this from a return point of view. I focus on it from when you know where the volume is, your goal is to milk the run. That's why I always say, do not cap your winning trades. People that are losing, they're taking 2-to-1s, 1-to-1s, where they should be letting their winners run. That is their only issue. I promise you this. And in Falcon, they're not doing that. So a trade here in the same run, so capitalizing on the same run. So let's say you got your original, you got your H4 trade, then you got your next position roughly around here, and let's say we'll go conservative and say you closed at the low. This is an appropriate area. You're looking at 8.8. That's with a 15 pip stop. Let's say, for example, it's wider. It wouldn't need to be, but I'm just giving you an example. Even at that level, we're talking 6.5. So one simple run, you've gone from where you are, now you trade in your 120k account very, very quickly. That is without the next trade. Next trade was here after we broke the structure. This was a messier position, but this was roughly here. And then stop was roughly about 16. Again, at the low, same target, another 5%. There you go. This is repeatable systems. This has been happening for so many years. It's been documented for so much time. I've probably shared too much on the channel than what I should, but it's about how you piece things together. It's not about knowledge. We're in an information age where knowledge is accessible everywhere, but that also means that things are going to be the most scattered. So when something is easy, there's going to be hard somewhere else. So right now, if you're someone who's starting to learn to trade, you could jump on YouTube and you could find so much information, people doing tutorials, you can find information everywhere. So that's easier for you than what it was, let's say 5-6 years ago. However, so then what's going to be the hard thing? The hard thing is going to be piecing it all together. The hard thing is going to be the sequence. The hard thing is going to be the recipe. It's never been about knowledge. If knowledge was the most powerful thing, then librarians would be the richest. It is the order of the knowledge, the sequence and the experience of the knowledge. So with my experience and the coach's experience and the material we put together, this is how people on the fund that I showed you on the whiteboard are able to take a 15k account, then to 60, then to 120. Suddenly they're a 6-figure trader, they're replacing their income. That is how simple it is on a repeatable system, and that is just one simple run. That's without all the other trades, and we're looking for the same thing over and over again. If you're someone who's been in Falcon before, maybe you just didn't get it straight away because any skill takes time to learn. Maybe people's obsession with this 100% mechanical way of thinking is part of the issue. One of my predictions for 2025 is that's going to be a thing of the past, because a lot more people in 2025, a record amount of people say, do you know what, Mark, I'm sick of this obsession of 100% mechanical, because when it works and it's great, and then when it doesn't, I go into like -10 drawdown and it's demoralizing. I completely agree, because our traders are not doing that. That's the reality. We have such an incredible system. It's so repeatable. And this, I'm showing you an average trade. I'm not picking out, the perfect scenario. This is the simple thing we're looking for over and over again. So I wanted to share that with you. This is what it would look like if you're in the fund, just like loads of other people. We had another 2 people pass on the in-house fund. I announced 2 people this week. I've got another person to announce by the time of watching this video, probably today actually. So there's just, I don't have enough time to jump on podcasts and celebrate all the success. Why do you think that's happening? That's because we've just now had 3 to 4 months of H4 mastery, so it's given people enough time to learn, and then we've given feedback, we've helped them out. So our community is just equipped themselves with even more than what they already had. They already had enough to be profitable because our fund was proof of that, but now we've got this on top. This is what that looks like. And my prediction is very simple. For 2025, you're going to see so many traders hit these repeatable trades. They'll be trading 240, 120, 480, and they will be making life-changing money. That's what it looks like on our fund, and we're here to support you every step of the way. In an hour from now, I actually have a funding webinar dedicated to our funding traders, where we go over peak performance, how to stay mentally sharp, how to not get overwhelmed when you've got more capital. It's this support that keeps your capital. How much is that worth to you?